It may surprise you to learn that Canadians are not the world's biggest beer drinkers. That title goes to people living in the Czech Republic. But one thing is for certain, Canadians do love their beer and their craft brews. Micro or craft breweries, as they're known, are much smaller than the big brands, and some say that means more attention to detail. What it certainly guarantees are regional specialties meant to tantalize beer lovers' taste buds. Here and now to share some excellent Canadian craft brews with us this morning, a certified Cicerone. I love that. Steve Riley, so nice to have you back, Steve.
Thanks for having me back.
And you have represented the provinces well. You brought in brews from right across Canada to share with us, right?
We did. It's an exciting time to be a beer drinker in Canada right now. There are so many different flavorful beers. I brought in some from Nova Scotia. We've got BC, Quebec. Everywhere is covered.
Why do you think that microbrews are so popular now? What is it about them?
I think people aren't brand loyal anymore, so they're trying to change their taste a little bit, and there's different flavors for different styles of tastes, and I think people are trying new things, and they're being a little bit more experimental.
Jeff and I are just back from Ireland, as you know, and I took to the ale there, because I like a little bit of a sweeter thing. Took to the ale, and they put some cordial in it for me, and it became kind of like a black ale. And you were telling me that this one here, this beer, has apricot in it. So this is actually something that's creeping into the industry, adding some more flavor.
Yeah, we saw flavored beers come into the market in mass probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It was led by the lime, a lot of lime beers.
Yes.
Some of them are very much a flavor first, beer second. Not necessarily what we're looking for when we're judging. We want to make sure that it's very much a beer first, flavor second. And this is a great example of one of those beer. It's an apricot wheat by Saint-Amboise out of Quebec, and you get a little bit of apricot there in the nose, but it's still very much a beer taste and beer flavor.
It's noon somewhere, right?
It is.
All right.
Enjoy. And then some of the other wheat beer.
Yeah. You can really taste the apricot in this. That's really good.
Yeah, and like I say, it's there, but it's very much a beer. Other examples of wheat beer, 416 is, of course, Amsterdam and Toronto. Does a great job. It's unfiltered, so there's a little bit of yeast in there, which is going to give it a little bit more yeast character, beer character, which is great. The Pilsner I brought in was from Garrison out in Nova Scotia. And typically Pilsners are a little bit lighter bodied. I don't like to use the term refreshing or thirst quenching because it's overused, but if we're looking for a beer like that, this is a great example. You know, something you'd have on the deck in the summer when you're barbecuing.
And you were saying, and just briefly, that there are certain glasses for certain beers, and I was surprised. I thought a beer glass is a beer glass, but no, because this is a Pilsner glass, right?
That is a Pilsner glass. So Pilsners typically don't have a lot of aroma. So when we talk about flavor, a lot of that is from aroma. It comes from our nose. So if we have like this Mad Tom IPA, very flavorful, very hoppy, a lot of hop aroma to it, we want a wider mouth glass. So when we go to take a sip, our nose is actually inside the glass, and we get to experience a lot of those aromas.
I love the detail.
Oh yeah, with Mad Tom, you get a lot of grapefruit, pine. It's a great beer, whereas a Pilsner, not so much aroma, so our nose doesn't really need to be in it.
A lot of people looking for gluten-free products these days, and beer has answered the call.
They have. We're a little bit behind because gluten-free beers are very difficult to brew. So there's much more demand than there is supply, but that is changing. So this one here, Nickelbrook, a great example of a well-brewed gluten-free beer. What they do is they use sorghum and, in this case, pear juice instead of malted barley. So it's going to be a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, because of that sorghum and the pear juice.
And the pear juice, really stands out. So it's a little bit fruity. Of course, we don't get the head on the beer like we do with malt-based beer because there's no protein in it. But it's a good alternative for those who are sensitive to gluten.
Taking us to beer school this morning. Thanks so much, Steve.
You're very welcome.
Love it.